CAAAS, a principle, aim, or movement that because of a deep commitment, one is prepared to defend or advocate. Karibu. Karibu is a Kiswahili word that means welcome. Welcome, you found yourself in a peaceful place, a place where you can grow and develop, and we hope grow and develop to your fullest potential. This is a podcast that we hope will expand your mind and raise your consciousness. Welcome to the CAAAS, Conversations on Music, History, and Democracy. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Martin Luther King, Jr. "5 years rooted in history, 5 years reaching toward freedom. This is the work. This is the cause." Welcome to the CAAAS, Conversations on Music, History, and Democracy. I'm Dr. Reiland Rabaka, and today we gather not simply to commemorate time, but to consecrate transformation. 5 years. 5 years of study and struggle, of scholarship and song, of research and resistance. 5 years of the Center for African and African American Studies at the University of Colorado Boulder, a center not only built in space, but forged in spirit, not only institutional, but intentional. What does it mean to mark 5 years? 5 years of the Center for African and African American Studies. It means we remember. It means we reflect. It means we recommit. Because the Center for African and African American Studies, affectionately called the CAAAS, is not merely a place. It is a pulse. It is a practice. It is a promise. A promise rooted in histories too often silenced but never erased. A promise sustained by cultures too often marginalized but always magnificent. A promise propelled by struggles for justice that refuse to rest in the past because they insist on transforming the present. From the first spirituals sung in sorrow and hope, to the blues bending pain into poetry, to jazz improvising freedom in real time, to rap music testifying truth in the language of the ghetto streets, African American expressive culture has always been more than art. It has been archive. It has been argument. It has been action. And the Center for African and African American Studies stands in that lineage. In these 5 years, the center has cultivated a research program that does more than fund faculty and graduate students. It forms intellectual communities. It gathers thinkers who dare to ask not only what is, but what ought to be. Scholars who see Africa, African America, and the African diaspora not as separate stories, but as interconnected struggles, shared songs, and intertwined destinies. In these 5 years, the center has built an arts program that reminds us that creativity is not a luxury, but a lifeline. Through artist in residence initiatives and visiting artist opportunities, the center affirms that art is not ornamental. It is foundational. It is where history breathes, where memory sings, where imagination dares to dream beyond the confines of the present. And in these 5 years, the center has nurtured what may be its most radical and loving offering, the Beloved Community Program. Now, when we speak of the beloved community, we are not speaking in abstraction. We are speaking in aspiration and application. We are speaking of a world where justice is not selective, but systemic, where love is not sentimental, but structural, where democracy is not decorative, but deeply lived. The Beloved Community Program is the bridge between the campus and community, between theory and practice, between knowledge and transformation. It is the space where scholarship steps off the page and into the public square. It is where the university becomes accountable to the world it claims to serve. Whew. Because what is the purpose of knowledge if not to liberate? What is the purpose of art if not to illuminate? What is the purpose of community if not to humanize? Today's episode features a conversation drawn from a powerful interview highlighting the impact of a historic $2 million commitment to the center. An investment not only in programs, but in people. Not only in infrastructure, but in creative imagination. As you listen, I invite you to hear not just the words, but the worlds they point to. Hear the echoes of past struggles. Hear the rhythms of present realities. Hear the possibilities of futures still unfolding. Because this is more than an anniversary. This is an affirmation that Black studies matters, an affirmation that community matters, an affirmation that justice, though delayed, is never denied when people commit themselves to its pursuit. So listen closely, reflect deeply, and remember always, 5 years rooted in history, 5 years reaching toward freedom. This is the work. This is the cause. So many of us need hope. We feel like we are living through such desolate times, such perilous times. We feel like there's so much that is being torn down. And so I think that there's so many beautiful people in Boulder who are joining with me to build something and build something beautiful. And what we're building, we call it the Beloved Community.
Surrounded by awards, art, musical collections, accolades, gifts, books, and over 2 decades of accomplishments, Dr. Reiland Rabaka sits across from me with the ease of someone completely at home in his office inside Mackey Auditorium Concert Hall on the University of Colorado Boulder campus. Just beyond the frosted glass window of where we meet, a hallway adorned with layers of colorful event flyers and warmly lit by a yellow-hued stained glass window, lies the Center for African and African American Studies, commonly known as the CAAAS. Serving as the research, creative work, and programming arm of the university's broader Black Studies community, the CAAAS carries an immediate sense of openness. Office doors sit ajar, welcoming guests in, and a living room-style gathering space invites students and visitors to stay and connect. It's a space built by community, for community, something CU Boulder recently made a significant commitment to support.
But we are excited to share that both my office and the President's office are here today to make a commitment for $1 million each over the next 5 years to continue the support for the cause, to continue the work, to continue to see the impact, to continue to see him build this beloved community in Boulder.
The pledge, announced February 2nd by Chancellor Justin Schwartz and University President Todd Salomon, directs new funding to the Center for African and African American Studies. It came as the CAAAS marked its 5-year anniversary at the start of Black History Month, the university's 150th anniversary, and the 100th anniversary of the National Observance of Black History Month. For many connected to the center, the investment marked a significant moment, an important step towards strengthening the CAAAS's mission and ensuring its impact for future students. I sat down with the CAAAS founder and director, Dr. Rabaka, to talk about the center's origins, its mission, and what this investment could mean for its future. You established the Center for African and African American Studies in May of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
What prompted you at this time to channel your efforts in this direction and create such a tangible platform to elevate the experiences of Africans and African Americans within Boulder and beyond?
I actually came here in 2005 with an idea for a Center for African and African American Studies, or Black Studies. And I don't think that CU was ready for it at the time. I don't know if I was ready for it. I was untenured when I got here. And so I needed to achieve tenure. There were stages and steps to this. I did keep advocating for it, though, for about 15 years before we actually got it to go. And so that's between 2005 and about 2020. I was campaigning for it and everything. And then BLM happened, and that opened up a whole nother lane. It was a period where people were speaking out. People were marching in the streets, and not just Black people, right? There was BLM was actually multiracial. These beautiful, brilliant Black queer feminists, Alicia Garza, Opal Tometi, and Patrice Concolors, created this thing called BLM. I wanted to reflect some of that energy and some of that vibe here in Boulder, Colorado, which there's not a lot of Black folk, but we have a lot of allies, right? And the final straw, probably the murder of Breonna Taylor, the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, and then certainly George Floyd. I wanted to strike the iron while it was hot. And I was teaching a Black Lives Matter movement seminar at the time. So my students and I developed a petition for this center. We got something like 1,700 signatures at a time when there was only 800 Black students. So that shows you more allies signed for this center. And I already knew that I wanted to tailor make a center that was very specific to Boulder. And I think maybe that's why we're having a 5-year anniversary. And we just, got news that we're going to make it to our 10-year anniversary. And so, yeah, I think that how it starts grows out of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd sort of being culminating martyrs, if you will, of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Given your vast depth of experience in academia and outside of it, not only as the founder and director of the CAAAS, but also as an educator, an author, a speaker, a podcaster, a poet, and a musician.
Wow.
How do your own endeavors enable you to create an environment that brings together diverse groups of people with diverse interests and invites them to work together in cultivating a sense of connection?
I would say that I was trained by a lot of feminist, womanist, queer and trans folks, immigrants, indigenous people, certainly African Americans, but so many other groups. And I think it's that very kind of intersectional impulse that that environment that I was educated in, that I'm sort of carrying over to African studies, African American studies, even hip hop studies. And the reality of the matter is my students are primarily non-Black folk. And so I almost specialize in teaching Black studies to non-Black people. That's a gift, right? And the fact that they sign up for my class in record numbers, I have a captive audience. They want to be there and I want to be there with them. There are all these kind of little pockets of arts and culture and alternative thought and values here on the CU Boulder campus. I wanted the cause to tap into that. This center is a bit bohemian. I'm not afraid to say that. I think that as you rattled off, I'm a bit avant-garde myself. And so I'm a bit edgy. I like to press the envelope, and I like working with people who are edgy, who are bohemian, who are avant-garde, and who want to press the envelope. And a lot of those are students we might have been come from very different backgrounds, but we want to focus more on our commonalities. And I think that when we do that, we can move beyond conflict quicker. Kind of the vibe of the center is Ubuntu, meaning that we all share humanity. And I thought that that would be an incredible concept to hardwire into a brand new Center for African and African American Studies at CU Boulder. So I was educated by, a multiracial, multicultural, queer-friendly, trans-friendly, interfaith community of teachers and professors and scholars and activists. And I want my own life's work and my own legacy to reflect that foundation, that I was educated in. And these are just my core values at this point. I think that we're surrounded by a lot of people in our society who either don't know what their core values are, or they haven't really been exposed to enough principles and practices yet. And so I see myself as hopefully doing a service to expose many of my 18 to 23-year-old students to sets of values and principles that can help to guide them, not simply guide them through graduation, but through life.
What does unity mean to you
Wow.
within your work?
It makes me think of the Kwanzaa, the Nguzo Saba concept, the first principle of the Nguzo Saba, meaning the first principle of the seven principles is umoja. Umoja, unity. Unity for me, I would emphasize unity within diversity. So I don't want anybody to have to give up any aspect of their identity to unite with me, to be in solidarity with me and this center. And I think that's why you have so many allies, if you will, for our center. And so for me, I would like as diverse a community for this center and for this campus as we can possibly get. I think that we're actually going to be stronger. And to be honest with you, when I interact with people that come from different walks of life, that have different views and different values, I learn so much. It makes me a little more human. And to be honest with you, that is the only reason I got my doctorate, is so that I could practice lifelong learning. The reality of the matter is that I consider my students my teachers. They teach me probably more than I ever teach them, to be honest with you. And so for me, unity is connected to solidarity and reciprocity. And so I want there to be unity within diversity. Diversity is at the heart of real humanity, if I can be honest with you. And so for me, I want a center, and I want a center community that reflects the broad strokes of human culture.
I know you have previously shared how profoundly Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has influenced you through his lifelong political, cultural, and social fight in the service of humanity. And you often describe this work as the construction of a beloved community. Can you speak more about what this means to you personally and how it shapes the goals of your center?
The beloved community, I would say to you, is a space where everybody is included and nobody is excluded. And it's not a slogan, it's a practice. I want a space that is radically inclusive. I know how it feels to be marginalized, to feel invisible, to feel erased, to be dominated, to be discriminated against. And so I want to use whatever platform I have, whatever privilege I have, dare I say, whatever power I have at this point, I would like to use it in the interests of the so-called powerless. I'd like to use it in the interests of the voiceless, the people that are marginalized. I'd like to take folks who are on the margins and center them, right? For me, the beloved community is very, that's what that is about. It's about opening hearts and minds. And because I'm a musician, it's about opening ears, to different sounds, that are going down and everything. I would also say to you that while my conception of the beloved community builds on Dr. King's, I seek to take the conception forward. Say, for instance, for example, Martin Luther King Jr. may not have had as strong of an emphasis on, let's say, a critique of patriarchy and feminism. So that's where I'm very vocal about using whatever male privilege I have. Not that I really care about maleness and all, I really don't. But whatever, male privilege I might have, I'd like to use it in the interest of turning attention to women and girls' lives and struggles. It's almost like a little love letter to all of the girls and women who have invested in me, who've contributed to my development, who give me a second chance. It's not like, I don't know anybody, any man under patriarchy that's going to have perfect gender politics. So you're going to make some missteps and some mistakes. And so I would say that's at the heart of it. That's key, if you will, that my conception of the beloved community is intersectional. I don't know how many people can really say that. Now, people's conception of the beloved community is quite religious. And I want to make it where people that are irreligious, people that are agnostic and atheists also have a place in my conception of the beloved community. That's very, very broad. That's a very, very broad base one. And so I'm building on what King articulated as the beloved community in the 1950s and the 1960s. And what does it mean to fast forward 50 or 60 years and to do so during the age of intersectionality? Our time being active in BLM radicalized me. The Black Lives Matter movement is arguably one of the most intersectional protest movements in the history of the United States of America. It was created by Black queer feminist folk. We went out of our way to welcome trans people. We went out of our way to welcome immigrants, people that were working class, people that were formerly incarcerated, people that were having mental health struggles and physical health challenges. That's a qualitatively new way to do social movements. If I'm just being honest with you. And I think because it was created by Black queer feminist folk, the intersectional aspect was already hardwired into it. So they didn't have to smuggle the women in after the fact. They didn't have to smuggle the queer and the trans folk in after the fact. No, they was already front and center the day we started this thing. My conception of the beloved community then is very influenced by the best, because, there are some bad aspects of it, the best of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Are you ready to dive deep into the rich histories, cultures, and arts of Africa and the African diaspora? At the Center for African and African American Studies, affectionately known as the CAAAS, we're leading the way in research, arts, and student engagement at the University of Colorado Boulder. The CAAAS is more than just a research center. It's a space where students, faculty, artists, allies, and activists come together to explore African and African American experiences, from historical legacies to modern cultural expressions. And at the heart of it all, our students, playing a central role in everything we do. They're the future of this important cultural legacy, working side by side with faculty on groundbreaking projects and events that impact not just the campus, but the community and wider world. Research projects and events that impact not just our beloved CU campus, but the community and world at large.
Our mission? To foster academic excellence, social responsibility, and artistic expression, with programs that inspire leadership and advocacy for social justice. Whether you're interested in visual arts, music, or deepening your understanding of African American culture, the CAAAS is the place for you.
But we can't do it alone. The CAAAS relies on the generous support of our community to continue making a difference. By giving to the Center for African and African American Studies, you help us expand research, create opportunities for artists, support our students, and drive meaningful social change. And right now, your gift will go even further. All donations will be matched by CU Boulder Chancellor Justin Swartz for up to $1 million or until May 30th, 2026. To make your impact today, visit colorado.edu/center/CAAAS and click on Support the Cause. Every contribution, large or small, brings us closer to a future of unity, knowledge, and transformation.
So, if you're looking for a community where history, culture, and creativity converge, visit the Center for African and African American Studies at CU Boulder. Come join the CAAAS and be a part of a movement for unity, knowledge, and social change.
Learn more and give today at colorado.edu/center/CAAAS. We can't wait to welcome you to the cause.
The cause began nearly half a decade ago as a labor of love.
Yeah. Wow.
And in 2023, Governor Polis officially proclaimed February 1st as the Center for African and African American Studies Day in Colorado. What does this recognition mean to you and those behind the center?
It's a dream come true. It makes me think of Sam Cooke's famous song, "It's Been a Long Time Coming." A change is going to come is the title of the song. But, the famous hook is, it's been a long time coming. The fact that Governor Polis is one of the most progressive governors in the United States of America, that he means even more to me. As you know, Governor Polis is just a very, very dear and beautiful ally of the cause, keeps up with what we're doing. It just means the world, because I think it would be very easy for somebody like me to be rendered invisible on a campus like this. As I felt the first 10 years that I was here, it would be very easy for somebody like me to be marginalized on a campus like this. And so in the fact that the governor of all people is shouting you out, right, is recognizing your hard work, that gives me a feeling of not simply like I belong in Boulder, on the Boulder campus and in the Boulder community, but that the work that I'm doing matters. See, belonging and mattering are two different things, right? So not only do I belong here, but what I am doing matters, and it's actually part of the collective good for the public, for the citizens of the great state of Colorado. You can't have a better rags to riches story. The story of the cause is a quintessentially American story. A person comes from the public housing projects and goes to college and gets the degrees and doesn't just stay in the chocolate cities, but comes all the way to Denver, Colorado, and goes to the vanilla suburb and creates a center that's being celebrated by the governor. To a certain extent, then, this center then becomes a model for what's possible at CU. So as we go through our 150-year anniversary, professors like me weren't able to be here when they started the school. Centers like this certainly didn't exist when they started this school. Look at what a feather in CU's cap the center is for the 150-year anniversary. That's all I would say to you. Wow. And you saw how they soft started, right, by coming to Black History Month. This is uplifting, right? This means something, It's something to celebrate. We have enough sorrow. We have enough cynicism. We have enough sarcasm in the world. What we need is people that are going to be serious, people that are going to celebrate the good. If we have a problem, let's get together and see if we can develop a solution. That's what the cause is doing. We have 3 pillars. Number 1, we are a research center. Number 2, we are an art center. And number 3, we are a center for building the beloved community. That's where we get all of our allies. The beloved community is open to everybody. We welcome everybody.
Where do you hope to see the center in the next 10 years?
Endowed. I hate to talk money. We're in a capitalist society. So I'm doing all this incredible work, and it costs money to do programming. It costs money to have events. It costs money to have lecture series, to co-sponsor events, to go out and do community work. And so I would like to endow our center. I'd like to roll out even more programs. You saw we just launched our arts program, where we have an artist in residence program. We have a visiting artist program. And now we have a brand new beloved community program. I'd like the cause to be an even greater bridge. I want to make sure that people that can't afford to pay $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year, I want to make sure that they get access to African studies and to Caribbean studies and to African American studies, and to women and gender studies, to queer studies, and so on and so forth. And so for me, in the next 5 to 10 years, I'd like to only increase our emphasis on public education. I'd like to have an ambassador program to where people who are active in the CAAAS community will go out there to various aspects that I may not be able to get to, at least not on a daily basis, and share some of this message of the beloved community. That, for me, that is the signature of what makes our center different than, let's say, the center at Berkeley or the center at Ohio State or the center even at Harvard and Princeton. It's that emphasis on the beloved community part. And what better place than Boulder, Colorado? I've been here for 20 years. This is my adopted second home. What better place to build a community where everybody is welcome? Nobody is turned away. Everybody has a voice, right? Everybody is seen and heard and felt and listened to. Boulder could be a microcosm of what we could do all throughout the United States of America, if not all throughout the world. I'm going to quote to you one of my musical idols, John Lennon. John Lennon said, "You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. Imagine." I've spent my life imagining a whole new world, imagining a whole new humanity, a whole new community, a whole new society. Imagine if what we're doing here in this center at CU Boulder can have a ripple effect all throughout Boulder County, then all throughout the Denver metropolitan area, then all throughout the Rocky Mountain region, all throughout the United States of America, and all around the world. That's my dream. That's my hope. And I think that right now, so many of us need hope. We feel like we are living through such desolate times, such perilous times. We feel like there's so much that is being torn down. And so I think that there's so many beautiful people in Boulder who are joining with me to build something and build something beautiful.
How will this $2 million investment over 5 years enable the center to expand its programming and events? And what are the specific ways you plan to further your mission of generating community across the university and larger city?
That is right at about our operating budget. So that's kind of, that's the programs, the events, the co-sponsoring that we do. So that's where we are. And that will help us. It will help to sustain us. So we will be able to keep what we have. We may not be able to grow as much. Or that's on me as a director. I'll have to go out and keep fundraising. There are other programs I would like to introduce. We simply don't yet have the kind of resources to do it. But again, as I pointed out, we just launched 3 new programs this year. Our Artist in Residence program, our Visiting Artist program, and our Beloved Community program. One of the things that we're just getting going on is our Beloved Community program, which is mostly off campus. So how can I work with, let's say, the YWCA? How can I work with the Boys and Girls Club of Denver? How can I work with Africa Agenda or the Boulder Chamber of Commerce? Yes, I'm shouting you out. With the JCC, which is the Jewish Community Center, or the Islamic Center of Boulder. I mean, there's so many with Naropa University and a lot of our Buddhist community members. I mean, how can we create even stronger links with them with this investment? And I think the investment will really help us sustain ourselves. Because now I'm really focused on trying to, not only fundraise, but get the endowment, right? That's really important. See, the endowment, literally, the center pays for itself at that point. So that means every 5 years, I won't go have to beg the president and beg the chancellor, bless their hearts, for this investment. And so this $2 million means that the ball is in my court. And considering the work that we're doing, there's got to be somebody that hears this who says, you know what? I want to help them. I want to join in the work that they're doing. I can see that this professor is attempting to make a generational contribution. So this isn't just my gift to CU or my gift to Boulder. It's our entire generations. We want people to know, that we felt very strongly about building the beloved community here in the Rocky Mountains. It's almost as if I'm trying to get Boulder to help me help the world, if you will. And I think that we need in America, the beloved community. We need to build it now more than ever before.
In the past, you've described your center as an open house.
Yes.
Where can those interested in learning more find opportunities to connect with the center, get involved, and offer their support?
Our website. We have a news feed there that shows like recent news stories about us or whatever we may be doing. The podcast is on the website. I'm putting my heart and my soul into my podcast, right? And so I think that the podcast is really public education. This is a way they'll get some sense of how I teach, right? And what's happening in my classrooms if you listen to the podcast. Some of that positive vibration thing, some of that Ubuntu, our shared humanity vibe that I'm trying to share in the podcast, and then coming to our public facing events. And so I would want people to know that our open house events, our Kwanzaa event, our Black History Month event, anytime I'm in the public, wherever I'm at, the beloved community is there with me. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. When I go to Denver, when I go to Fort Collins, when I go to Colorado Springs, anywhere I go, the beloved community travels well, and they will come with me and everything like that. And so I think that, yeah, anytime I'm out speaking, and I do a lot of public speaking, anytime I'm out speaking, it's a great opportunity to introduce yourselves. I'm very approachable. And so I think that, yeah, the website, our brand new beloved community program, which we have so many incredible folks, community partners who are part of our beloved community program, including KG and you.
You can find more information about the Center for African and African American Studies at colorado.edu/center/CAAAS, or by subscribing to its newsletter to learn more about its featured programs, events, and other activities. You can learn more about Dr. Reiland Rabaka online through CU Boulder's Ethnic Studies Faculty Directory, find him at the CAAAS on the CU campus, or hear him speaking at local, national, and international events. Additionally, the CAAAS, Conversations on Music, History, and Democracy, is a bi-weekly podcast that examines the cultural, historical, and political forces shaping our world, hosted by Dr. Rabaka. This is Jenny Ellis, reporting for KGNU.
Oh, 5 years rooted in history, 5 years reaching toward freedom. This is the work. This is the cause. As we come to the close of this episode, we are reminded that anniversaries are not endpoints. They are invitations. Invitations to continue, invitations to deepen, invitations to dare. Because 5 years is not a finish line. It is a foundation laid by those who believed that knowledge could be a form of justice, a foundation strengthened by those who understand that art could be a form of resistance, a foundation sustained by those who insisted that community could be a form of love made public. And yet the question remains, what will we build on this foundation? Will we build institutions that include, or institutions that transform? Will we build conversations that comfort, or conversations that challenge? Will we build communities that coexist, or communities that co-create? The beloved community, as envisioned by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., is not a destination we arrive at. It is a discipline we practice. It is the daily decision to choose justice over conscience, compassion over complacency, courage over cynicism and sarcasm. And so the work of the Center for African and African American Studies calls us not just to observe, but to participate, to support research that tells the truth, to sustain art that speaks the soul, to strengthen communities that struggle toward justice, to become, in our own ways, ambassadors of a new humanity, because the work does not belong to the center alone. It belongs to all of us. It belongs to the students searching for meaning. It belongs to the artist shaping new visions. It belongs to the community member building bridges where walls once stood. It belongs to you, beloved. All of my beloveds listening. It belongs to you. So let us move forward, not as passive listeners, but as active participants. Let us move forward, not with fear, but with faith. Let us move forward, not alone, but together. Together in the struggle, together in song, together in the sacred work of building a more just and democratic world. And as we do, let us carry this truth with us. 5 years rooted in history. 5 years reaching toward freedom. This is the work. This is the cause. Thank you once again for listening to The Cause. Conversations on music, history, and democracy. I'm your host, Professor Reiland Rabaka, coming to you live. Oh, wow. From the Center for African and African American Studies at the University of Colorado Boulder. And as we mark our 5-year anniversary, I'm already looking ahead to our 10-year anniversary. May it be so. As they say in Africa, in West Africa, and Nigeria, Ashe. May it be so. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for the CAAAS podcast with Dr. Reiland Rabaka. For your letters, questions, and suggestions regarding the podcast, email us, thecause@gmail.com. CAAAS. The CAAAS podcast with Dr. Reiland Rabaka is produced and edited by John Arnold and is a production of the Center for African and African American Studies, the CAAAS, at the University of Colorado Boulder. For more information, visit us online at colorado.edu/center/CAAAS. CAAAS.
Class is in session, so come and get your lesson. Ooh, the CAAAS podcast. I love that. Do you love that?